Hello, everyone. I'm North Hempstead Town Supervisor Judy Bosworth. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have embarked on creating a virtual exercise series for our senior residents. We partnered with our Project Independence fitness instructors to host these virtual classes, which will allow you to stay fit and healthy by participating from the safety of your home. Please enjoy.
All right, let's get going. This is a basic fitness class. We'll do this standing. So we're just gonna start moving around, get your body moving. I'm gonna start just walking in place, just to start the blood flowing, slowly taking your respiration to a higher level. So I'm now starting to lift my legs a little bit higher. So as I'm working from a walk, or actually a stroll, into a march, you can even go faster, you can go slower, it's up to you. You have to adjust it for what you're feeling. I was going to point out one thing that is a common mistake what people do. See, I'm walking with opposite arm, opposite leg. It helps the body coordinate. It balances the body. So this is warming up, the lower part of the body with a little bit of the arms, and then we're going to slow it down, and I'm going to start to do a little bit more on just the shoulders. So I'm going to take my arms up and lower the arms down. So I'm going to try to work on most of the body parts as in today's class. Normally, a lot of times I like to isolate what maybe like legs or shoulders. And I'm going to take my arms around and up and down. I'm going to start bringing my legs into this. So some of these things I've already done today, which is a nice way to wake up and just get the body moving. I'm going to take my arms out to the side. I'm going to bring my hands onto the shoulders. I'm going to circle the elbows around. So it's pretty much, this is now just my arms or shoulder area. Very important to get this warmed up before you really start to put too much stress into the shoulders. Legs are a little different. They're much stronger. Let's go around the other way. Shoulders can be a little sensitive, particularly for people that had shoulder problems, which is pretty common and easy to twist your shoulder if you're falling, just lifting something wrong. And now we're going to move back into the legs and the arms. I'm going to come into what I call air squat. So my feet are about hip width apart. I'm going to take my arms up as I bring my hips back and down. It's like I'm imagining that there's a chair behind you and you want to sit your hips back like you're going to sit into the chair. So you can go halfway down if you're just warming up and you feel a little stiff. If you want, you can bring your hips down as low as your knees. So you should start to feel the heat building very quickly doing this. Squats will really get your heat going up, the body working. The muscles really start to form because it's really working most every muscle from your lower legs right into your hips and lower back. And moving the arms, you start to engage your shoulders a little bit. So I'm going to stop, but I'm not going to stop moving. I'm going to continue to walk in place. Some people may want to do some more squats. Some people may want to go right into a march instead. And, so we're still warming up. We're supposed to spend at least 10 minutes doing a warm-up. So I'm going to do a little bit more on the shoulders. I'm going to do it in two different things we're going to do. One of them is fairly easy. The other one can be a little bit difficult. So I'm just going to slow it down. And I'm just going to take my right arm up. My left arm reaches back. Notice how my palms face the same way. I'm going to switch and go to the other side. You can go fast or slow with it. So I'm going to start to add a little bit of I'm going to start lifting my heels up, getting the lower legs to start to move. And you can go fast and slow with this. People can go very fast with this. It depends on how your shoulders feel today. And you could even start to turn and put in a little twist to this. Turning your torso. And again, you can go faster or slow. I'm going to be speeding it up a little bit. I'm going to put my hips in, so I'm going to start to do like a squat with it. There's different things you can do. Main thing is to get the shoulders going a little bit. I'm going to slow it down to show you the more difficult version of this. Instead of going under, I'm going to go over. It's a little bit more difficult. So that's why I'm slowing it down. Go slow with this one. And if that's too much, then just go back to this one. It's really getting the blood flowing into our upper extremities. And then I'm going to come back to walking in place, because that is our big muscle group, is the legs. We already did some easy squats. I'm not going all out into the squats just yet. As we're going to start to move again into some more exercises. It's moving into lunges. So we're going to start with a couple lunges. I'm going to move it, drifting forward. I'm going to step. I'm going to turn to the side. The easiest is I'm going to step back. I'm going to step back with my left leg, and I'm going to bend the front knee and come back up. I'm going to switch sides. So if you need stability, you can hold on to something and just do one side at a time. A little bit more advanced, I'm going to switch and alternate my legs. And you could also start to keep the shoulders going too by starting to take the arms up too. Different things you can do depending on how your balance and fitness level is. You can really bend the knees deeply, and then you really start to heat this up a lot. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to walk in place. Okay. Yes, just keep the body moving. I'm going to come into another lunge. As I see, I got blocks here, so this might help. Because I'm going to, you can use a chair, a table, anything. I'm going to take my legs out wide, and I'm going to come into what's really a side lunge. Just bend the knees, going side to side. Try to keep your hips going back. You don't want to push your knees forward over the foot. That puts a little stress into the knees. So once you start to warm up, you may want to start to bring your hands down. I'm going to bring my hands onto the block. You can imagine I have a chair in front of me, a table. So if this, for me, I can bring my hands all the way down onto the ground. If it's difficult, again, chair, a table, or if you have these are yoga blocks, but I'm warming up my hips. I'm working the muscle in the outer hip. When I come to the side, the outer hip muscle is pulling me from side to side, and I'm stretching the inner thighs. Or just lengthening them, getting them ready for some more exercise that we're gonna do. I'm gonna work my way up. I'm gonna bring my feet together, put the blocks aside for now. And I come back to walking in place. We're gonna move back into the squats, which I will start to add weight. I see I have, some weights here. Good, because I didn't bring weights with me. Okay, so I'm gonna, again, I'm gonna start again with my feet about hip width apart. You can make it wider depending, different situations. We will go wider later. So I'm gonna take my arms up. I'm gonna turn my palms out. Same thing as before. I'm gonna bring my hips down, but I'm gonna take my arms up. Again, you can bring your hips lower. The lower you bring the hips, the more you're going to work. So you can bring your hips as low as the knees. Just don't push your knees forward. It's the hips going back. That's the big, powerful muscles in the hip. It will build a lot of heat because I want to get everything warmed up because we did over 12 minutes, so we're moving towards the main exercise. So you're welcome to do more squats. I'm going to just go back to walking in place. And we're going to start to move. We're going to do some basic exercises for our arms and shoulders. Mix that with some leg work again. So I'm gonna get myself warmed up a little bit on the shoulders more. I'm gonna take a strap. This is stretchy. You can use a belt or a tie. It's a little harder on the shoulders, so be careful. I'm just gonna take my arms up and around and back. So it's nice and stretchy. It's easy on my shoulders. That's why I went through. We did some stretching for the shoulders first. We'll come back to the strap again later, but I'm going to do some basic, just for the arms right now. I'm going to do working the muscle on the front of the arm. It's the bicep, it's main muscle that we use when we pick things up. So I'm going to bend the elbow, lifting the weight straight up to the shoulder and slowly lowering down. Now you can use whatever weight that you have. And the thing with weights, when you start to use it a lot, you'll start to get so that the weight will start to become less. It will seem like it's less because your body's adapting to that weight level. So sometimes what you need to get a heavier weight, and it can get expensive. You'll start out with like 2 or 3 pound weights, and before you know it, you'll be using 5, maybe 8 pounders. And then we're going to come to another, actually this is for the back of the arm. So I'm going to lift my elbows up and I straighten the arms. It's called kickbacks. We use these muscles in the back of the arm quite a bit less than we do the front of the arm. So as a result, these muscles become a little bit weak, a little flabby. And you say, well, if we don't use it, why do we have to exercise? Well, when these muscles need the front of the arm and the back of the arm, you need to balance the strength in them. So it's healthier for your shoulder when the muscles are equally balanced. Okay, I'm going to come back. I'm just going to do a little walking and then we're going to start to move into the upper chest. So I'm going to go back to the band. So you can do this on a bench too. It's going to be like a bench press or any kind of thing. It's a press. I'm going to take the band around my back by bringing it over my shoulder blades, securing it underneath my arms. And I'm just going to press away. See the word press? It's similar to a push-up. So if you prefer push-ups, if you feel like push-ups are too hard, you can do like a push-ups against the wall or on a chair. It's a little bit easier. I'm just going to do one more. This is for the upper back. Again, you want to keep the muscles in your upper back equally as strong as the back, as the front, if not more strength in the upper back. So we're going to do a little bit more. And then we'll get back to our leg exercises. This is called a reverse fly. You can adjust the strength of this by I just brought my hands a little bit closer together. If that's too much, then you just slide your hands just a little bit apart, and then you see it's a lot easier. I gotta find someplace in the middle, because you don't want this thing to get flat in the middle. As soon as it starts to come slack, then you come back out again. This is very important muscles. It's the upper back which works on our posture. Because we went through a lot of movements, and I'm going to slow it down and just come into a little lesson on posture. Okay, so I'm going to turn to the side, because when you do, you want to have your ears, shoulders, hips over the ankles, so that you want a straight line running down your body to the floor. When you start to lean forward, you start to put stress into the bones and different parts of our body. Let's get back. We're going to do some more shoulder exercises. So the upper back is going to keep you from being here. So we're going to start off with a little gentle shoulder rolls here, shoulder shrugs. And we're going to come into something called a front lift. It's going to work the muscle in the front of the shoulder. So I'm just going to keep my arms straight. I'm going to lift the arms up. I turn the palms to face down. I bring the arms up as high as the shoulders. You don't need to bring it up higher. We're going to do these muscles here. It's the front of the shoulder. We actually, when we did the reverse flies, we work the muscles in the back of the shoulder, besides the middle of the back. And I'm going to take it down. Again, I'm going to do some more of the shoulder rolls. And I'm going to take it to the side. It's called a lateral raise. Here. Again, you don't have to bring the arms up too high. It's better for the shoulders to take them shoulder height. Pause and just slow it down. So you keep your legs firm, just so that it supports your body while the weight is moving. I'm using a really light weight, it's not that critical. But if you start to use heavier weights, you really gotta watch the alignment and absorbing the weight with your legs when you lower the weight down. We're gonna come back to something later that's going to look similar to this, but it's going to be from a leaning forward, because it will work more the muscle in the back of the arm. Okay, I'm going to put the weights away for a moment. Like I say, we'll come back to that later, but we're going to come into some lunges. So this time, instead of stepping back, I'm going to up my game a little bit by taking the leg forward. Again, I'm going to be alternating them. If you want, you can do one side at a time if you need to hold on to something. I'm going to take them, so I'm going to step forward. I bend the knees and come back up. If I'm mentioning the knees, even my back leg is bending. How much is up to you. You can really get very intense with this and bend your back knee, touch it to the ground, and come back up. A much harder lunge, but I'm going to add a little bit to this. I'm just going to take my arms up. And I'm going to change it up again. I'm going to take my arms around and up. I could play with this. You're working different muscles by doing this. You don't have to take the arms up at all. You can do this with your hands on the hips. And you're welcome to do some more. I'm gonna come back to the walking to prepare for the next exercise. Alternating things around, but basically I wanna keep my legs going the whole time. That's supporting the whole base, everything we have going. Our legs are involved in just about everything you do. As we're going to go to another type of press. I'm going to start off with the band again, because we're going to use the band for something else right afterwards. So I'm going to take the band again around my back, over my shoulder blades. I'm working it up there, securing it under the arms. And I'm going to press the arms this time straight up towards the ceiling. Like that, and lower down. Working primarily the area in the front of the shoulders. Okay, I'm going to release. I'm going to do a few of the reverse flies again. Again, it's the upper back. You really got to keep the upper back strong. So I'm going to take the band up and I'm going to bring it into my chest and then away. Let's get the upper back burning, cooking. That's so important. The hardest part of the posture is the tendency to push your head, or head jut, they call it, here. So when these muscles in the upper back are stronger, bring everything into a line. So I'm turn to the side so you can see that. I'm also turn to the side so you can see the next exercise. I'm gonna bring my hands together, be really close together. So I'm gonna have my hands on the front of my legs. Again, the back is straight. The back likes to round. I'm gonna fold forward. I slide my hands down the legs towards the knees. Maybe you can come over your knees, and I'm just coming back up. Now, the other thing you may have noticed, I lower down slowly, but I come back up faster. My back is flat. This works the muscles in the back of the legs, into the lower back, and the hips, all the really important muscles that keep us upright. I'm really keeping the band here just to show you. This could be dumbbells. It could be one big long barbell. Very powerful movement. These are some of the most powerful muscles in the body. Well, actually, they are the most powerful muscles. The hips, the back of the legs, muscles in your back. But the back has to be flat, particularly when you start to add a lot of weight, because I don't have any weight. This is almost weightless. A lot of the common mistake is to come here, start to round their back and bring their weights down. No, the back needs to be flat and straight. Then you're coming up with strength. When the spine is out of a line, you start to put the stress into the actual spine, not the muscles holding them. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna come back to, I'll use the band again. As well, I got it in my hands. Kind of bringing the weight around my back. So we're gonna do what we did before with the presses, but I'm gonna add the legs to come into what would be like a squat. So I'm bringing my feet a little bit wider apart, and I'm gonna bend my hips back, take the arms up. So I'm working both the arms and legs. It's up to you. Again, you can bring your hips really low. You'll work more of the legs. I almost fell back, which is actually good because you want the weight to go back. If your weight is coming forward, you're stressing the knees. And I'm gonna walk it out. Okay, I'm gonna roll my shoulders around a little bit as I'm gonna come back to the arms in a little while. And same thing, the arms, the front of the arm and the back of the arm. Because we use them a lot. There's other muscles in the arms that we're going to do a little different variation. So we get to reach into these other muscles a little bit more. So I'm just warming up and I'm again rolling my arms. I'm going to take the dumbbells back. Okay, we're going to do the first arm exercise, the curls. But last time I kept my palms facing in towards each other. This time as I bend my elbows, I'm going to turn the palms up, bringing my hands to the shoulders, and then lowering down. As I come down, I turn my arms to face in towards each other. So I'm rotating muscles in my arm, which is the other muscles to get also. If I didn't do that, when I lowered down, I would hit my legs. Do just a couple more of these. Okay. And lowering down. Now to the back of the arm. We did the kickbacks before. This time I'm going to take the arm up alongside my ears. Or one arm. You could actually, if it's light, you could do both arms. In fact, I'll start with that. I'm going to come here. I just straighten the arms and lower down. The big mistake is people elbows spray out. Keep the elbows in. The other thing is the arms start to get tired, so the elbows start dropping here, which isn't as good. So I've mentioned before that as you use weights a lot, you get better at doing the exercise, and the weights don't have as much effect on us. It's like a law of diminishing returns. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put both weights in one hand. Just be careful that you can handle two weights, because I don't know how much weight you're carrying. I'm going to bring my arm up again alongside the ear. My other arm, I'm holding the back of the arm, and I'm straightening and bending. So you're going to do, I would say recommend doing even on both sides. But if you find I find like I know I have a weaker side, so I do a little bit more on my weak side. When I'm working out, lifting weights, but I generally have heavier weights when I'm doing that. Okay, I'm going to lower down. Okay. Coming back again into the squat. So I used the weights before to do that. You don't have to take the arms up. I'm going to use the weights, just keeping the arms either at the shoulder or right on your hips. So you're still putting weight into your squat more than you would if you just had using your body. Like we started with just body weight exercise. Just getting a few more squats, because squats is probably, of all the exercises, probably one of the best, because it just works so many muscles. Okay, from here, I'm gonna come back to just walking in place. You can keep the weights if you want. Let's keep the weights. We're gonna do because I want to show you the weight variation of the reverse fly. Remember, we took the arms out to the side, but this time I'm gonna bend forward. So now, as I lift my arms up, it's more like the reverse fly. Try to squeeze your shoulder blades together when you come up, as they slowly drift apart as you come up, as you lower the weight down. You need a little bit of core strength in your midsection. And I'm coming up. Okay, so I'm just going to stay to the side like this, a profile of me. Going back into this folding, for this time I'm going to use the weights, but I see my weights are right on my thighs. I'm going to slide down, bringing the weight down to the knees, maybe below the knees, but again, my back doesn't round. I keep my back flat. Don't look down, look forward, because otherwise, again, the spine will tend to round. I'm going to do a few more of these. Okay, we're going to go on and do some more, but we're going to work our way back into lunges, because I want to show other variations to lunge. I'm going to do, again, if you're finding your trouble with the balancing and staying, but hold on to something. This is going to be a more mobile of a lunge. It's a little bit of a, so it is a little challenge to the balance. I'm going to do different ones. It's going to just imagine like you're standing in a circle that's like a clock. For those of us who remember arms on a clock, you can step forward to 12 o'clock, bend the knee, and come back up. Now we're going to turn, step out to 1 o'clock, and then come back up. And then stepping out to 2 o'clock, and coming back up. Now stepping out to the side, like we started with the side lunge, and coming back. And then stepping out to see if I got room, 4 o'clock, stepping back to 5, coming up, and then stepping back all straight back to 6. Again, stepping back to 6, but this time with the other leg, going right around the clock. And then stepping out to 7 o'clock, and then stepping out to 8 o'clock. Again, stepping to the side to 9 o'clock. And then stepping to 10. Again, I got to remember the time. Okay, 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock. And then 12 o'clock. And you're welcome to go around again. I think I have enough time for one more time. This time I'm going to take my arms. I'll start to use the arms a little bit. 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. I'm going to start stepping and taking arms around. 4. 5. 6. And then switching sides. 7 o'clock. I'll take my arms straight up again. 8 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock's a little more there. Again, switch, take it around. 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 11. And here we are back to noon. And I'm going to just walk it out. Yes, a lot of variations of things you can do with those are lunges. There's also a lot of things you can do with squats, but I want to move into like a closing. So you may want to have something to hold on to as I'm going to come into some balance exercise. So I'm basically just going to take my right leg up and just hold the leg. Now instead of moving, which is dynamic, this is a static hold. Yeah, just giving that a try. And notice that the tendency may be to fall to the side or fall the other side. That's an indication that there's weakness in the side or inner thighs. And one of the best things you can do is just this balance, because it does so many things for you. So I'm going to switch and go to the other side. Taking my leg up. I'm kind of also stretching the hips and back of the leg, of the upper leg, as we are moving into stretching exercises. And lower down. Okay, I'm just going to march it out a little bit, keeping my legs warm. As I move into some stretches, I'm going to come back to the blocks. You can use a chair, the blocks. Whatever, I'm going to take the block. I'm going to take my legs out wide. Oops. I'm going to bring my hands down to the floor. We did this before, but this is again static. We're stretching, lowering my head down. So you can, if you have a chair, you're pretty much stuck at one height, but with the blocks, I can adjust the height, coming in deeper, depending on how far of a stretch you want to get. And we're gonna, so I'm going to come back up. I'm going to bring my feet closer together. Coming up, I'm going to bring my legs, my feet together. Again, another stretch. This time I'm going to bring the blocks to my feet together and coming onto the blocks. While my feet are almost together, they're about 6 inches apart. And as I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my feet closer together as I get deeper into the stretch and maybe even closer together. Maybe I lower the blocks a little lower too. And coming up. Okay, I'm going to put the blocks aside for now. But I'm gonna, that's not very stable. You're gonna want to hold onto something. I think I can hold this as more stable. I'm gonna bend my knee. I'm gonna grab the ankle, stretching the front of the thigh. Again, you gotta hold, it's recommended about 20 seconds. You can hold longer, going up to 3 minutes. And release, okay. I'm gonna turn to the other side. I got another something stable over here. Again, I'm stretching the front of my thigh from my knee up to the hip. And releasing. Okay, I'm going to move up a little bit higher into the arms and shoulders and maybe even the hands if we get to that. As I work myself from the main parts of my body to the outside, I'm going to take my arm up and I bring it across my body. I take my other hand holding the back of the arm. Relax your shoulder down. See, it wants to come to the ear. Relax it down so you don't stress the neck. So you can hold it like this. Some people like to use their hand. And I'm going to take the arm up alongside my ear, stretching this muscle in the back of the arm. That weak muscle that I wanted to put a little bit extra emphasis on because it was already weaker than the front. And release. I'm going to do the same thing on the other arm. Do the same thing about holding it about the same time. And again, I take the arm up alongside my ear. I want to get the hands. I'm not sure, see how much time we have. I'm going to come here. I'm going to take my arms out wide, reaching up, lifting the chest, stretching across the fingers. From the finger to finger, length right across this. You get the muscle in the front of the arm, what we did with the curls. So we're not going to have a whole lot of time left for this, but I'm going to do a little bit for the hands. I'm going to interlock my fingers, expand here, and then come here. Just a fluid, dynamic stretch for the hands and wrists. So time is running out, so until next time.